My name is Jim Hietala. I'm VP of Business Development and Security at the Open Group, and my colleague Dave Lounsbury is our CTO. The two of us will start off with an overview of the Open Group, and then we'll dive into what some of the work groups and how the forum is structured. So by way of an agenda, we'll walk through the overview that I mentioned, as well as look at the steering committee, hear a presentation from them, Trevor Cussworth from Schneider, then the business work group, Paul Berlowitz from ExxonMobil. We'll talk to what they're up to. Then we'll get into the EA work group. Dave Emerson from Yokogawa will speak to that. Then the technology work group with Alex Johnson from Schneider. And there should be time at the end for some question and answers. So you've heard some of this. I apologize if I'm covering ground that's already been covered. I think this one is worth talking about a little bit because when this opportunity came to the Open Group, we pretty quickly realized that there were really 7 different industries from a process control standpoint that would be impacted by this standards effort. So you see them there. When you look at the membership that we have good representation, certainly from the DCS supplier community. We think that we're a critical mass in the supplier world. From an end user standpoint, as was mentioned, and as you can see, we have good representation from oil and gas and from chemical, some representation from pharma and from pulp and paper, but we're still looking for end user representation. We think it's very important to the work of the forum that we get representation from those other verticals. So specifically metals and mining, utilities, and food and beverage. So, and you can see we also have a number of Open Group existing gold and platinum members that are participating in the forum. So I would say overall we're encouraged by the engagement we have. We're certainly looking for more participation, certainly from the end user community. In terms of the rationale for end user involvement, I think this quote captures it. I heard in the presentation on Tuesday, the panel discussion, the comment that the industry is at a whiteboard moment. I guess my thought would be if this industry is really at a whiteboard moment of reimagining what DCSs are all about. If you're an end user, this is a great way to get involved and have some input into what the outcome looks like. So I think that really is the ultimate rationale for getting involved in this. We think there are some benefits both to suppliers and end users that I'll walk through quickly, and then I'll turn it over to Dave. In terms of the customer organizations, the end users, gaining early insight into what this next generation computing environment will look like, driving towards interoperability and vendor choice, something that Steve Bitar mentioned in his talk on Tuesday that I hadn't appreciated until he laid it out, but the idea that you can manage risk and ROI and CapEx investment over time, and instead of it being a lumpy thing that happens every 20 years, is a significant benefit to end user organizations. Cost-effective insertion of new capabilities, the forum representing a neutral home to work with your fellow customer organizations from your or other industries to develop common standards and tools. The ability to speak with a single voice to the supplier community is important. It's been a hallmark of the successful efforts in the Open Group over the years. And the ability to work directly with the suppliers to help ensure that your requirements for this future operating environment and for open standards are met. And then finally, the assurance that requirements are available to be incorporated in procurements. And you'll hear as we talk about the future work of the forum that there's a very strong focus on developing business guidance so that at the end of the standards effort, there's an ability for customer organizations to painlessly procure systems that are compliant to the standard. For suppliers, we think the benefits are that you can influence the architecture and the specifications, get early access to the architecture and the specifications as they're being developed, network with other companies and their experts in a non-competitive, vendor-neutral environment. lower your commercial risk as you can align your development to the specification as it emerges. As was mentioned, I think Tuesday, that a standard like this also opens up the opportunity to expand into other industries, other segments that maybe you're not involved in today, position the company and products for future procurement, and we think really grow the market for DCS systems. I seem to be stuck. There we go. So my plea before I hand it over to Dave is, if you have interest in this, see myself, see Dave, see any of the members of the forum. We have a couple of other staff members here, Lauren Baines and Steve Borchert, who are here, and we're happy to answer questions about the forum for you and look to get you involved. So with that.